Yeah, so hey everybody, we are the New York based or the New York adjacent in some way or another members of the National Political Committee. I'm Megan. I actually live upstate, but though I was briefly in Bronx, Upper Manhattan, DSA, but I live way up in sort of halfway between Ithaca and Syracuse, DSA. But I'm stealing New York valor. Yesterday I stole Louisiana valor and made gumbo for our big party here in the East Bay where we're having a national political committee meeting. So I dual card between states, apparently.
Cool. I'm Alex, also zooming in from California, from a lifelong resident of Brooklyn. Currently live in South Brooklyn, the best branch of New York City DSA. Hot take. But yeah, I'll pass it to Ashik.
Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Ashik. I'm co-chair along with Megan, and I was born and raised in Bay Ridge. Still have a lot of friends and family there, so I've been watching New York DSA jealously from afar, but I've gradually drifted it down south, but still paying a lot of attention to what y'all are doing. So thanks for doing this Twitch stream.
Hey everyone, I'm Kristen. I was in New York City up until 6 months ago, and now I guess we could have the debate of whether I'm upstate or not, but I am upstate in Beacon in the Mid-Hudson Valley, and really excited to be here with everyone. We're supposed to take up time here, I guess, so.
We're vamping.
I grew up thinking the Bronx was upstate, so sorry.
Compared to Bay Ridge.
I mean, it took me 2 hours to get there from Bay
Yeah.
Ridge to the Bronx. Like my first job after college, I was living with my parents, commuting from Bay Ridge to to the Bronx. So I watched a lot of HBO shows on my phone on the train.
Yeah, I'm from central New York, so you're all from downstate. It's very cute that you think you can have our upstate valor, though. I'll share. It's fine. We appreciate the tax dollars, so that's it's all good. Yeah, so we're out here in California for our quarterly National Political Committee meeting, making some decisions about what comes next for the org. We're talking a bunch about specifically this electoral cycle, how we're going to approach it as an org. So we're hoping to have some guidance or some, anything for you soon. It's a weird year. It's a weird political year, but and it's a weird sort of time in DSA. So, but we are feeling up to the challenge, as challenging as it is, and committed to making sure we have the org we all want to organize in.
Yeah, and I mean, just really on that theme, I think a lot of people, obviously across DSA, but our entire society, are feeling really demoralized about the presidential election, and obviously U.S. media and politics just hyperfixates on presidential elections, which are important, but especially in a year when we don't have Bernie Sanders the way we did for 2 massive cycles of growth for DSA. I think this year we're just all really feeling like across the board, like this is the time to focus on really messaging what our strategy really has been across DSA. Like we've been focused on building the bench electorally and really integrated as much as possible with all of our other work. And New York City DSA has been such a good model of that. So I think it's super exciting to see how your electoral program continues to grow in relation to all the campaigns that you're continuing to develop, like the bases you're building. And we want to do way more of that to support that across the entire organization of DSA and our 200 chapters to learn from what's working or not across chapters. So that's why we're really focusing on making sure we're sustaining the resources that we need to keep scaling up at the national level and support more chapters to do more good work. So I think, we've been hyping up our Solidarity Dues Drive to get more members paying some percentage of their income if they can afford it. So that's one of our big asks. We've also been doing phone banks twice a week, which are super motivating to talk to members across the country about just why are you involved in DSA? Like, what are we doing? Why is this worth our resources? And they've been really good conversations, at a baseline. I know you all have been doing a lot of the phone banks for Palestine, which nationally we have been too, but just any basic point of contact that's systematic with members is just a very basic thing we're trying to cultivate across way more of the organization. Just get more chapters doing list work, all these, things that feel basic for chapters who've been doing it, but we're not systematically enough supporting it. So those are the kinds of things that, are just critical in this moment, integrating all of our work and resourcing it.
Yeah, and it feels like it's there's no way it's fun to get on a phone bank and ask people for money, but they're really, really positive. Like you get on the phone, you're talking to members from different chapters. It makes you really feel like you're part of kind of one big org, which we are. And it's good to remind ourselves of that. It's easy to get into the sort of vortex of your own chapter. So it's exciting to just be able to have those conversations.
I've been keeping track of up here, watching New York City's 101s be these magic meetings that have you guys growing so much. And I would love to see us roll those out everywhere. I know we're thinking about rolling it out up here in Mid-Hudson, and I'm sure other chapters around the country are. And I think that's like one of the really exciting things that's happening right now, or everyone being so creative about how to get people to join the organization, how to reach a whole new type of person who maybe we haven't reached before. I know I've seen a lot of people rolling it up here from our Palestine work, and that's been really inspiring to see that work really grow the organization. Despite, how horrible things can seem, there's a lot of hopeful movement happening right now. And this is a really great time to be a socialist and to have a vision of a future that is different from the one that we live in now.
Yeah, I think the Growth and Development Committee is actually rolling out that sort of plan. I think Francis is taking lead on that. So you should see some resources coming out of national, especially if you're a smaller chapter somewhere else that's not, doesn't have that built yet. We are trying to send in the reinforcements to help you build that. Though, it's like even that, like you don't need, you just throw a meeting. You can do it. I believe in you. We'll try to get you some more stuff. So you have some cool slide decks, some cool graphics, stuff like that. But it is, organizing is very complicated, but it's also often just as simple as having a conversation and getting some people into a room and like vibing. So get those vibes happening.
And the New York chapter seemed like such a good example. Like Kristen mentioned, Mid-Hudson Valley, just like what you all have done in collaboration with them, just like building out the SIO beyond New York City with like the Sarahana campaign in Mid-Hudson Valley. Like we actually just approved at our NPC meeting this morning a list swap for the Mid-Hudson Valley chapter and the Sarahana campaign to just, sync everything even better with national and chapter and, campaign resources. So that's just just watching that from afar, like how that's leveled up like all of your statewide efforts and what the chapter has been doing has been so exciting. Like just the growth from like the Build Public Renewables campaign to Sarahana's campaign electorally, and then how that's just leveled up like so many other efforts across the entire state is just a really exciting model to watch. And we're out here in California right now. Megan and I and like other NPC members have been talking to folks in the SF and East Bay chapters. We had a meeting with Santa Cruz folks, and there's talk about, all their statewide efforts and how it's been challenging or effective in different ways. And these are just the kinds of conversations that like having models to compare to each other is so important in this, big, messy national organization. But like, we're figuring it out.
And it's worth noting that Sarahana does have a primary challenger.
Yes.
So I think everyone who
donate
sucks as usual, but you got to donate. But also everyone it's not that far from New York City. And it's a very scenic ride. So everyone should make sure that you get up there at least once in Canvas.
Fun fact, I was hosting a phone bank 2 weeks ago, a Solidarity Dues phone bank, and one of our callers got Sarahana's partner or husband. I'm not, but that's who they called. And so they got to have a fun conversation about, asking the Sarahana household for more money for DSA. But
I'm giving her emotional support already. Don't ask me for more.
But if you do the Solidarity phone banks, you might get celebrity interactions like that one. Let's see. Okay. Do we have any questions from the Twitch stream? Does the chat have anything in it?
We're getting used to Twitch, as you can tell.
Yeah, I am told you're not supposed to nod because everybody like says nodders in the chat, but I can't help it. I am an encouraging maternal figure. I have to nod.
Okay,
when
what other
people tell me
gestures are
things.
allowed? Can we
Yeah.
shake our heads? Can we like, do we use hand signs?
We do like the
What's
cool like
appropriate?
baseball hand signs, like where
Yeah,
you're like,
okay. Someone in the Twitch stream is shouting out, vote uncommitted, campaign in Michigan.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
another shout out. Listen
Yeah.
to Michigan. There's at least one more phone bank that DSA is doing in the next couple of days. So like that's another great thing to plug into from wherever you are. The calls have been extremely receptive. Like we actually heard that like in the first iteration of the script for the phone banks, it started with just talking about the Biden, like mentioning Joe Biden's presidential election. And there was such a high hang-up rate at the mention of Joe Biden that they shifted the script to center like the purpose, which is we don't want to support a genocide supporting president for re-election. And that has gotten a lot of hits. So we'll see how it goes over the next week, but this is a real opportunity to throw down as DSA, and the Michigan chapters have been killing it, like really activating a lot of people, especially in Arab and Muslim and communities in Michigan. So this is really exciting for us.
we got to have the fun fact of putting Ashik on the job of translating some of the stuff into Bangla, which is really cool. It's nice to like remember that we all.
This is like another New York connection because my family's from Bangladesh. Like I grew up in Barrage, which was like a mostly white ethnic neighborhood when I was growing up, and now has New York City decades later from when I was growing up has a huge Bangladeshi diaspora community, as does Michigan. So when they were translating these materials, like they already had Arabic down, obviously, because there's so many Arabic speakers in these communities, but like Bangladeshis, I guess, are not as organized politically. So I did my really terrible Google Translate of 4 sentences and was like, yeah, vibe check, this seems okay. And then as soon as it was posted on social media, like somebody texted me like, hey, bro, you got some spelling mistakes, but like I can read it. So we'll do better. We're getting better at our multi-language outreach.
That's right. That's right. And it is, so go ahead, Kristen.
Really exciting to see us do some practice with building this independent political identity outside of the Democratic Party. And I think this is like this campaign, this is one piece of how that's going to happen over time.
Yeah. And sort of helping present the idea that it's like a party is more than just a ballot line. It is this more comprehensive, network and web of things that are happening. Okay, I have been asked to plug bit.ly/DSATV live. We are raising money for New York City DSA today. Donate to them. Also, please up your dues to Solidarity dues if you are watching. That is what is helping our organization become more durably funded, even as peaks and valleys of politicization happen. So you can do that at dsausa.us/solidarity dues. So thanks in advance for both of those things. I think that we are maybe coming up on getting done. I think Ashik might be posting. Oh yeah.
I don't know what I can.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you old DSA Solidarity dues phone bank, and you'll find them. They're on there. But yeah. So next up, I'm told that I'm to throw it to a video. There's a polyed video of a Palestinian lawyer. So you're gonna hear a bit about some Palestine stuff. So yeah, free Palestine, stay strong. Vote uncommitted, and what else are we trying to remember to hype before we leave?
Solidarity dues.
Yeah, that's just really glad to be in DSA with you. Really impressed at this work that New York City DSA is doing. I suspect Ashik and I are gonna like elbow our ways into more of these things soon as your co-chairs. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend, and solidarity.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone.
And the US, of course, as you all know, is not only not preventing genocide, it is actually contributing to it. It's actually encouraging it. We started the case last month, and probably there will be a hearing next month. And we hope for a positive outcome. The US is perhaps one of the few, if not the only country in the world who can stop this now. If the US decides now to stop this, it would stop. And that's why the US bears a huge responsibility to the slaughter of the Palestinian people. As a matter of fact, our children are being torn apart in a televised carnage by American weapons. And just imagine, I mean, I, for one, I would never know, or most probably my family was killed with American weapons. Can you imagine also Palestinian Americans, that their own tax money is killing their families in Gaza? It's quite outrageous what the US government is doing, to be honest.